Most engineers hit a wall after about 2 or 3 mixes and just can't be bothered to do any more. I'm doing upwards of 10 mixes a day and I'm loving every moment of it. This is how I stay fast and efficient throughout the whole process without burning out. So let's get into it. Alright, so I've got my mixing template here loaded up, and this basically is just the cheat code to stay efficient throughout the day and just not get burnt out. When I'm using this, I can basically get a song done and mixed within half an hour tops, and this just really helps me speed up my workflow and not get too burnt out throughout the day and just smash the mixes out. I highly suggest that every engineer has their own sort of mixing template. This is one that I've built over the last 7 or 8 years and just switching out different plugins, and I've kind of just cracked the code here with this one and just got something really efficient that I like to work with, and that works for me. When you don't have a template, you really just slow yourself down, organizing stuff, pulling in plugins, loading up stuff. Sometimes you may forget something that you normally have on your chain, like certain compressors or effects, and this may make your mixes sound pretty inconsistent over time. So I'll basically just go ahead here and just show you how I mix a song from start to finish and show you really how easy this can be when you've got a template. So we've got all the stems dragged in here. Obviously the first thing we want to do is match the beat BPM to the project. So bring this up to 140. And then the first thing I do is I mute everything except for the beat. Come in here, I've got an MV meter, and I have this set to -12 dBFS. And if you're not sure what an MV meter is, basically we just use this to make sure that we have a nice amount of headroom once we bring in all the effects and all the master plugins. So I'll play the beat and just make sure that it's not hitting above 0 here, which is the -12 dBFS. You just want to make sure that you come to the loudest part of the beat, so usually when there's the bass and the drums playing, because obviously if you just listen to the intro or something like that, the beat's going to get louder. So we can see straight away this needs to come down about 3.6 dB. So we'll come to the fader here and then just bring this down about 3.6. Try this now. So it's still about 1 more dB. So we're on 9.3, bring this down to 10.3. There we go. Now when we play this, it should hit 0 or just below 0. Alright, perfect. So now we can unmute all of these vocals and just get into mixing. Now with my template, I really just like to turn everything on and then mix into the plugins. So I'll leave all the master stuff off first, but I'll turn this on. That's a sidechain from the vocal to the beat. Turn everything else here on. That's auto-tune, we don't need that. Turn these ones on. And then the soothe here. Now, if you want me to make a video that's a little bit more in detail with all the mixing stuff, just let me know and I can just do like a full tutorial on how to mix vocals. But for now, let me just show you how I basically mix stuff with my template.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no.
So vocals are way too loud here. Let's bring these down. I might actually mute the backings and the ad-libs first, and we'll just mix this main.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no way they're ever gonna conquer me.
So some light compression here with the LA2A. I don't really like it hitting any more than 5, so we'll just keep it between 0 and 5 here.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no way they're ever gonna conquer me.
Nice. Alright, so next up we got an MOTT. This is just parallel compression. I kind of have these settings set and forget. I can always bring down the highs if they're too much or the lows. And as you can see here, it's only on 11.3% for the amount. So it's only doing a little bit, but you can notice a difference. And then after that, I have an R compressor, so we'll dial this in. Again, all of these settings are kind of here ready to go when I open the template. So I don't have to be sitting here fucking around with stuff. It's all good to go. So I'll just play this now, and all I really do is adjust this threshold.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no way they're ever gonna conquer me.
So I like to have this hitting around that 3 to 6 zone, and as you can see, it's not really going above 6. If you go over 6, it's going to be a bit too much compression.
I'm that normally said
as you can hear there, it's too much.
I do not look at this normally,
dial this back a bit.
Gonna conquer me. I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not.
Perfect. And on this compressor, I have a fast attack and a pretty medium release, which is, you know, pretty standard for most compressors these days, especially for rap vocals. After that, we got a fresh air. I might turn this up just a little bit more.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally said I'm
de-esser.
that normally. I do not look at this
Most vocals, really, most male vocals, the de-essing is around 7,100 hertz, so
I'm that
drag this down.
Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally, no way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally said I'm that normally.
And with this one, I like to have it around -6 dB of de-essing there. Next, we got an RVox. This is kind of just making the vocals a little bit more full. And again, with this one, all I'm doing is turning up the compression.
I'm that normally said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally.
Bring the
I
gain
do
down
not
a bit
look at
more.
this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. Ever since I fucking entered this precipice of some other dimension. To myself I couldn't.
Sounding great. Next I got a CLA vocals. This is just doing a little bit of push compression here. I do have the width and the sub on as well, but they're all the way down the bottom, so they're not doing anything. Every now and then there may be a mix that I feel like the vocals might need to be spread. If anything, I'll bring it up to about here. And sometimes vocals sound a little bit too tinny even when you've mixed them. So it's good to just bring a little bit more of that bass in here with this one. But for this mix, I don't feel like it needs it, so we're just gonna keep these down all the way. And then after that, I've just got to soothe on the safe vocal preset. And this is really just soothing out all of those harsh frequencies.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that.
Now the Pro Q4s here, they literally just have a 120 Hertz cut at the bottom end. Same with this bottom one, because you know, once it runs through these effects, you kind of just want to make sure it's still doing that. And I don't go too crazy with bands or anything like that, because at the end of the day, the Soothe here is doing a lot of that heavy lifting with cleaning up the vocal, and the fresh air really just helps bring it to life a bit more. So I don't feel the need to be doing any crazy cuts or bells with the EQs. Now I know a lot of engineers will laugh at me and just think that's stupid, but honestly, all of my mixes sound absolutely great, and I don't have any issues with that. So I like to keep the EQs there how it is, and then that's that. So the main vocal is running through number 3 here, and as you can see, it's running into the chain, which we were just playing around with. And then this also goes to the delay and reverb sends. So I definitely think this vocal needs a little bit more reverb, so we're gonna turn this up. And on this reverb channel, I have a side chain here, which is just ducking that reverb whenever the vocal's playing, and then sort of brings it up a little bit more when there's no vocal playing. I like to have this set to about 50%. So we'll have a play and listen to this.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me.
Sounds great. So what I'm just gonna do now is bring in these backings and also the ad libs, and then we can mix these in here.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally.
A bit of DS
I do not
in
look
here.
at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. Ever since I fucking entered this precipice of some other dimension. To myself I couldn't help mention they're not as entrenched as this. I feel the tension lift. You sent to present every sentence
his
I've
ad-libs
entered. I
down.
don't even need to defend this shit. I just create more and I'm venomous. This diabolical script, I'm attentive to this. Resting in peace when I etched it in. Wretched things, wrecking your sense within you, bitch. Bitch boys with the estrogen. Quick, this toy on the
Right, so this is sounding great already. I'm gonna come in here and turn all of these master effects on. We just got an Ozone 11 imager, a tape machine from Slate Digital. This really just brings the whole track up and just keeps it nice and full. And then below this, we have a Pro Q with the 20 Hertz cut. Some people say this is a meme, it does nothing. Some people swear by it, but I like to have it there. And basically what it's doing is just soothing out those really subby frequencies that most people can't hear anyway. But I find that it just really cleans the track up a little bit. Then below that, I have another Soothe. This is the Balance to the Grammy Awards preset. I've played around with a lot of different presets and bands and stuff, and I find this one works the best without taking too much away from the whole sonics of the track. Then after that, I have God Particle. This thing's just absolutely goated. We'll have a look at this in a second here. And basically all we're doing is just making sure that we're hitting these indicators here. If not, we may need to turn down some lows or some mids, and also just bring the track up. And then after that, I have a loudness meter, which I obviously like to use to see how loud the track's hitting. So I'll hit play here again, and then I'll just mix into this and you can see what I'm doing. And just a little pre-warning, you might want to turn down your headphones because we've got the master effects on here, so everything's gonna be a little bit louder. So just be warned, don't blow your fucking eardrums.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. Ever since I fucking entered this precipice of some other dimension. To myself I couldn't help mention they're not as entrenched as this. I feel the tension lift. You sent to present every sentence I've entered, but don't even need to defend this shit.
So you can see here, those indicators aren't really hitting where we want them to be, and the track's only about a minus 11 LUF, sorry. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna come and bring the input up to maybe about 3 dB, bring everything up a little bit more, and then see where we're hitting.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this.
Vocals are a bit loud, so we're gonna bring them down here on the fader.
I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally. Said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. Ever since I fucking entered this precipice of...
Turn up these delays a little bit, not too much. And then really, like, I just like to have a listen through, double check all my plugins and stuff, and the song's pretty much done. You know what I mean? That took me, what, like 10 minutes to do? You know, I'm not gonna export this and be like finished, but just to get a, you know, the track pretty much 95% there. Obviously you might have to do a little bit of cleaning up in the vocals or something like that, but for the most part, just being able to bang tracks out and just keep the flow going throughout the day, the template's an absolute lifesaver. So I'll play the track through for a little bit here, just have a look at all my plugins, make sure everything's hitting nicely, and then we'll go from there.
I'm that normally, said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm that normally, said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. Ever since I fucking entered this precipice of some other dimension. To myself I couldn't help mention that not as entrenched as this. I feel the tension lift. You're sent to present every sentence I've entered, but don't even need to defend this shit. I just create more and I'm venomous. This diabolical script, I'm attentive to this. Resting in peace when I etched it in. Wretched things, wrecking your sense within your bitch boys with the estrogen. Quick, this toy wanna mess with this. I spit boys, I'm the Methodist. I listen to the best rappers in the game, and I'm thinking that I could be ahead of this. Honestly, I could be ahead in this. I could sit around day and get head terrific, but I've got these nexus nip, represent, peasant and my pensive king. I could be a nemesis, exorcist, even your next of kin. Fuck a reference, when I write it's like I sacrifice my flesh and limbs. These MCs wanna be like me, cause I heat my steeds like a refried bean. He's fried but he's seaside with the queen. The fleet died but I revive for the scene. Inclined to rip mic, should I bleed? Not a big guy, but this mind got a dream. Now I despise any guy trying to reach, wanna drag me down, but I'm ripping off a leech. I'm that normally, said I'm that normally. I do not look at this normally. No way they're ever gonna conquer me. I'm
sounding really, really great. So as you can see here, we're not hitting above 0 dB, so we're not clipping, and we're hitting around, you know, minus 9.6 LUFS, which is great for streaming services. I don't like to go too crazy with it because it just ends up getting squashed when you upload it. I'm sure a lot of engineers know the whole loudness war thing. Really, when you upload a song, Spotify and all the streaming services kind of even them all out anyway, so you just want to be hitting a nice little level there. You don't want to be going too crazy, but you also don't want it too quiet. So loudness wise, we're doing pretty good. On the God Particle here, we're hitting the mids and the lows pretty well. Now on this plugin, if you're hitting the high band here, it means that you got too much high end in your mix. Jason Joshua, the owner of this plugin, he said, if you're hitting the high indicator, you got to turn your highs down. So really the only indicators that you're supposed to be hitting and lighting up are the lows and the mids here. And like I said earlier, everything here is pretty much 95% done. So obviously I'm not trying to rush this mix or anything like that. I just use this template every single day and I know where things should be hitting. And this is basically just how I can pump out mixes, you know, throughout the day and just not get super burnt out. I'll definitely be making a video soon going way more in depth with all of these plugins and how to mix in general. This is kind of just showing you how fast that you can be to mix a song, especially when you've got a template. And like I said at the start, I highly suggest every engineer have a template. It's going to speed up your workflow, stop you from getting burnt out, and just make the whole process a lot easier for you. I'll have mine linked down below in the description. It comes with a full video walkthrough, all the plugins that you need, like everything there that you need to know for using this template. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. And I'll definitely be making a video more in depth with all this sort of stuff very, very soon. This is really just to show you how fast this can be. Now, if the whole template thing's super new to you as an engineer, I highly suggest watching this video. Now, if you're an engineer and you're not using a template, you're probably making one of these mistakes as well. So make sure you watch this video. These are some crucial mistakes I see engineers making. So make sure you watch this one and be sure that you're not doing any of these things.